The #1 source of friction in your engine is not what you think. Piston rings rubbing against the cylinder walls generate more friction than any other part of the engine. More friction and temperature means more wear and less horsepower. Fortunately, the team at Total Seal knows how to reduce friction and wear through innovative piston ring design. If it takes a piston, Total Seal can build a better ring.
For more than a decade, FTI has strived to become the leader in the aftermarket performance transmission and converter industry. We've joined forces with McLeod driveline components under the leadership of Top Fuel Funny Car pilot Paul Lee, and now have a larger distribution network, more resources, and more power. Come see us in the pits and ask how you can join the FTI family. It's not cheating, it is the competitive edge.
This is WFO Radio.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. WFO Radio is on the air. That's right. And we are getting ready for the 2024 NHRA Mission Foods Drag Racing Series season, the Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series season. There's so much going on right now. We got to check in. We've got to catch up with some of our 2023 champs. That's part of the WFO universe, right? Like, we catch up with all the champs as best as we can before the start of the next season. And on this show, Julie Nataas is going to join us, talk about her World Championship season in Lucas Oil Top Alcohol Dragster 1 year ago, battling that one. It's been a couple of months since she battled Tony Stewart down to the wire and won the title, brought home the championship trophy. We're going to hear from Julie on this show. So here's the deal, guys. If you're a fan of drag racing and you think that the alcohol ranks deserve a little more love and attention, I agree. And we got to push interviews out there like this one. And Julie is going to be on the show just seconds from now, joining us. And so, let's share the show out there on your social media, because it's amazing. These drivers go 280 miles an hour and do so well. The competition is so stiff. And what will she be doing here in 2024? We're going to find out just seconds from now. But before we do that, I just want to thank the people who make it possible for me to go WFO. You see them up on the screen. We'll tell you a little bit more about them in detail later on. You already heard about Total Seal and FTI, but the folks at Foggit, Foggit, available on Summit and Amazon. It's a spray for the inside of your high-performance racing engine, but it works on so many other things. Gary Stinn at Foggit.com. Find out more. Bernie Speed Shop. Before the Gator Nationals, Bernie's is having the big fan fest 6 to 9 on Wednesday, right before the Gators. And if you're watching in the future, go to Bernie's, check out their social, and you'll see what we're talking about. Over 100,000 square feet, buying, selling, classics, building, frame-off restorations. They do it all. They sell e-bikes. They do it all at Bernie's. CWT Industries, that's balancing machines for machine shops. If it rotates, it can be balanced. We're talking about engine assemblies and turbochargers and superchargers, and CWT makes an unbelievable machine. You can always email me, and I will tell you more. Same is true with Phillips-Connect.com. Joe at WFOradio.com, and I can put you together with those guys and their smart trailer technology. Later on in the show, we'll tell you about Frank Hawley. We'll tell you about Rodax Coffee. We'll tell you about Sam Tech. But right now, let's bring her on. The world champion, Julie Nataas. What's up, Julie? How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me today.
I'm excited that you're on. And as time has been going by, I've been thinking, like, we were able to catch up with Doug Gordon immediately, but we never caught up with Julie, and we got to catch up with Julie. You guys won the championship on the same day in Dallas. Amazing. But I want to go back now that it has sunk in. I would imagine you've had some time to digest the fact that you're a champion. What has that been like?
Honestly, for the most part, still surreal. At this point, I'm looking forward to a new season. So you're kind of like, okay, you won one championship. You gotta put that in the back of your mind. You got to start working on your second one. So, it's still a dream accomplishment, like a dream come true. Whenever I think about that weekend and the year that we had. So I just hope that we can repeat it, or maybe even do it even better this year.
So greedy. You drag racers are so greedy, right? Like, you got one at this time last year. I remember a conversation that we had, and I know it morphed because rightfully so, but you were on a mission. You had, I don't know, I want you to characterize your attitude at this time last year. It was as if it was championship or bust this now or never. Tell me about it.
Yes, I went into that last year's season. I was like, I don't know, maybe this will be my last year. I don't know. Like, I kind of hope it is. Like, everyone knows that I want to move up, but we don't know when that's going to happen. So when I initially went into the season, I'm like, what if this is my last year? And what if I leave this class without a championship? That would be weird. Well, not weird, because not everyone gets to go do that, but that was a goal of mine. So I said, I'm going to have to win the championship this year, because it might be my last one. So that's how I went into it.
Yeah. Well, that's great. And we want you to move up, and we're pushing that to make it happen. But it all starts out with getting those resume points, right? And 2023 Lucas Oil World Champion is a pretty good one. National event winner, Jegs All-Stars, Indy. So many big things happened in this season. Did you do anything different to prepare to try to win that championship? Like, did you hit the gym? Did you practice extra hard? Or did you just kind of clear your mind? Give me your, because you had a career season clearly, but what was the difference maker?
My routine and all of that pretty much stayed the same, but I think I got better as a driver with clearing my mind, going into elimination day, or when you're sitting in the car and you're just leaving everything that's going on in your life. Like, you don't bring it into the race car. You don't bring it down with you down the track. A lot of people say that I'm really emotional, and I am, but I am not when I put my helmet on and I sit in that race car. I'm not emotional at all. You will actually see me. I'm emotional. I cry, but not inside the race car. Inside the race car, it's game face on. And I don't think anyone has ever seen me as that kind of person, because it doesn't show when I'm outside of the race car. I think there were several times this year where I was literally so pissed at the starting line, sitting inside my car, that I was trying to have fist pumps in my car. What is going on? Come on, guys. And that's a side of me that no one really gets to see, which I think is funny.
Well, I don't know. I think we need to see more of it. I can think of the time when you won the title and you got out, and when your feet hit the ground, it was as if gravity pulled you down, as you understood the mission accomplished. We did it. It's over. It's done. That's the kind of emotion that people want to see. People want to know that you care.
Yes, absolutely. I started shaking inside the car before we started the race car, because I didn't realize that was my championship run. I can seal the deal right here. And once I heard that on the speaker, which I pretended I didn't hear, I started shaking. I've never shaken that bad in a race car before. And I just had to clear my mind again. I'm like, no, it's all fine. It's all fine. And then actually when we staged the race car, I was racing Sean Cowie. I was pissed. I was like, what is going on? What is taking so long? I had my fist out, and you can actually see it on the camera. If you zoom in on my cockpit, you will see my hand in there, inside there, while I'm staging. I'm like, what is going on? So I think there was a mix of emotions of me being nervous and realizing that this can finally happen, to the fact that the guy in the other lane is trying to play with my head right now. And then seeing Amanda on the top end, I just, it was a done deal. It was a lot of emotions coming out right there and then.
That's I love, first of all, we're revealing that there is occasionally a pissed off Julie, which I think people are going to look for that a little more. Again, emotions. People want to see it. That's what makes them follow the category. It makes them follow a driver, pick a favorite driver. Speaking of which, we got a lot of people out there who want to say good morning and congratulations and job well done on your 2023 season championship. Steven says it was great seeing you in Dallas. And you mentioned the person on the microphone. I think it was me in that moment. Champion. Well,
yeah,
I don't want to make anybody nervous, but I want to make sure everybody in the stands knows that this is a big deal. And so sometimes they conflict.
No, absolutely. And I think the only reason why I heard it is because Christine had that big funny car wheelie in front of us. So we sat in the car and had to wait for a minute until they cleared the racetrack. So I think that's the only reason why I heard it.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. All right. So let's go back to the start of the year, though. Randy Meyer Racing. This is a team that they they know how to win championships in the Lucas Oil Series. You know, Megan, Rachel, but you're not a Meyer, right? But you might as well be. You've been with them for a long time. But I know it was important for Randy to deliver a championship, to show that there's championship muscle in this team with, like, I don't know how you would describe yourself, like non-family member racers that are out there on Randy's team, like client drivers. Like, I don't know how you would describe yourself, but you're paying for the ride to go out there and accomplish a goal. And to do that, it speaks volumes about Randy.
Yes, absolutely. He can tune a race car, any race car, to win a championship. He's also said that if I don't have a driver, I won't be able to do it. But I think he can pretty much turn anyone into a champion as long as you work together with him and you go through everything that he wants to teach you, and you go through the steps and you actually listen, which I have been doing. I've been there for how many years?
Right. But not that many. I mean, it feels like a long time, but it really hasn't been. It's been what, since you first came to the States? Has it been 6 years?
I raced with him for the first time in 2017.
Okay. So just about 6 years or so. This is year 7, but it does feel like a long time.
Yes.
But you've been a part of it, right? We went through the pandemic. There's been a lot that has happened between now and then. What's Randy like to race for? You said he's a great teacher, but does he get pissed?
Yeah, he does, but not necessarily at me. He might get pissed at other people around. Like, if something is not fair, he might get pissed, which I'm the same way. So I understand that if something is not right or how it shouldn't be, then he might get a little bit pissed. Or if someone says they do a job and they don't, then he'll be pissed. But he's pretty much just a big bear that you can go hug, like a teddy bear. I don't know why people say they're scared of him. It's nothing to be scared of.
So, whatever, to each his own. But Randy Meyer has been great to me, and just like education wise, he wants people to understand the sport. He wants people to understand his team. And now he's retired from business. He's a full-time drag racer now. So that's going to be exciting. We'll talk about that in coming up. But let's go through the season, acquiring points. And it was a great season. There were rivals everywhere, but one of your championship rivals garners significant attention from outside of drag racing, right? We're talking about Tony Stewart. He was in his first season and gave you a big run for the championship. He came up a little bit short, but what was that like, competing against someone who is so well known?
I mean, that was cool. To me, when you're up there on the starting line, in the end, he's also a racer, and just like the rest of us. But I did say, I was like, I can't have this guy win the championship the first year that he's going for it. And I was like, I can't have that happen. I got to go out there and beat him. And I think it's funny because I think me and him only raced each other like one time, and that was at the U.S. Nationals.
And there you go. And that's how'd that turn out?
I won.
That's crazy. Really? You guys only raced one time? Now looking back, thinking about it, I'm like searching the memory banks. One head to head, you and Smoke?
I think so. Yeah.
Wow. All right. So poor Tony, right? That he's got to go through this. Nobody is really feeling sorry for this guy. He's got a wonderful life, but there's a thing there. Nobody wants him to just walk over and excel in drag racing. We're very happy that he's here, and we want him to do well, of course. But in time, a progression of success. A lot of people said that about, he made the final round of his first race and came up, 2 inches short. That was the conversation as well. Why is that, Julie? Why do you think that is?
For someone like me, I've been out here racing for that title for a couple years now. And I was just like, I know he's a great driver. He's absolutely amazing, like in that way. But I was like, it feels wrong. Like it's time for me. Or there's also someone else that could win that championship before him, in my opinion. But I think that's just why. Like, you feel like there's people that are deserving of it, I guess. I felt like I needed to win it before him because I've been there longer.
I think that's very insightful into the way that drivers think, but maybe don't often put it out there, right? Like, because, you don't want to be rooting against somebody, but like, hey, man, you just got here.
Yeah. No, he's amazing for the sport. So absolutely, I would race him any time of the day. But at the end, I was like, I don't want him to win. No matter how great of a driver he is.
Yeah, and he's on to Top Fuel, and you want to be on to Top Fuel. And we're, I think there are a lot of people working within the sport, at very least, to hopefully advance that dream of yours and get you out there. And certainly interviews like this will go a long way. There's got to be someone that says, oh man, we got to see Julian Smoke go side to side in Top Fuel one of these days. But take us through the season as it's heating up, right? You're coming down the stretch and you have success, Indy and the All-Stars, and you're just racking up these accolades, but you win the championship. Feeling pressure? Were you bringing it home with you at all?
I feel like the whole season was kind of going up and down with pressure, like feeling that pressure of it, because there was certain points during the season where we were like, oh my, like we got to go win this race or else we're going to look really bad, or it's going to be really rough for us to win this championship. So the pressure was always there. And I say that I thrive under pressure. That's when I perform the best. Like you can tell when I came to Pomona and Vegas, and we have already locked up the championship, that I didn't perform that well. There was no pressure. There was nothing like, oh, you got to win this race. We're out there for fun this time. And there's just something in my mind, apparently, that changes and makes me not a worse driver, but definitely not the greatest I can be.
Athletes lose their edge all the time. It's very difficult to maintain that intensity once you've already conquered the goal. But you got the job done. You got it done in Dallas, a tremendous moment. And then you got to enjoy some races. Like you said, you didn't quite have the edge. But then we had our big championship banquet, and you gave this most amazing speech. I wish that everyone got to see it. I don't know if they put a video out of your speech, but watching you study, like really put everything you had into putting out that moment of thanking everybody. And you really talked up Johnny Lindbergh. And I would love to dig a little deeper on your friendship with Johnny and what he has meant to you and your career, because obviously I know that you guys are friends, and I know that he, helped blaze a trail over here of success in the National Hot Rod Association. We're all excited to watch him this year as he becomes a Nitro Funny Car tuner for Paul Lee with John Medlin. Like, that's going to be amazing. But you really gave a lot of credit to Johnny and how he helped you on the track and off the track. Can you talk a little bit about him and how he was so helpful?
Yeah. So me and Johnny, we raced in Europe together. He mostly knew my dad before I kind of got to know him, as well as I know him now. He raced or tuned the Pro Mod car and raced alcohol funny car in Europe while my dad was racing Top Fuel and I was racing Super Comp. And he actually moved over here in 2015, which is the same year that I moved to California for school. And I just started traveling around to the races with him and his family just to get to know like people and him and his family and the world of NHRA. And because I didn't know, my plan was only to stay in America for a year and then move back home to Norway in 2016. That never happened. So I just continued hanging around the races and hanging around Johnny and his family. And then one day I was just like, you know what? I want to stay here. And I feel like now it's the time for me to upgrade my license from a Super Comp to an alcohol dragster. And the person I would trust out here and ask questions about other race cars and rental cars and all that would be Johnny. So I did ask him initially about one car and what he thought about me getting my license in this car. And he said, nope, but I'm going to call Randy. We're going to get you in a Randy Meyer racing car. I'm like, okay, never heard about this guy. I don't know who he is, what he does, but okay, I guess I'll trust you. And he talked with Randy. And that same summer, just a couple months later, Randy was going to go visit Johnny Lindbergh in Sweden for fun, for Randy to go see some different country, I guess. So we were racing at Tierp Arena in Sweden. I was racing my Super Comp, and he came out there, watched me race. And that's where we decided that, okay, in the next couple of months, in September, Charlotte, you're getting your license with Reinhart Racing Monday after the National. So Johnny kind of helped me put me and Randy in contact. And Randy at that time, well, he's still very specific about who he lets drive the race cars and what kind of experience you have. And at that point, Randy didn't really know me or my dad or what I could do in a race car and how much I had done, besides like seeing me race that Super Comp car a couple times down the racetrack in Sweden. So he just literally trusted Johnny by his word, saying that, yep, Julie, she's great. She can drive a race car, like no problem. That was pretty like amazing to hear from me, that he literally trusted Johnny that much that he would trust me to get in his race car. So I was like, okay, that's cool. I could continue the story by saying that, like, with how Randy trusted me in this race car too, because when we got to Charlotte and I was going to get my license, he told me, just do first one 60 foot. I did, and he was happy. As long as I just listened to him, he was fine. And then the second pass, I made a half track, and then I was like, well, I think we can make you have like full passes now. Because he initially wasn't sure how far he wanted me to go down the racetrack. Made it down the track, and I ran a 20-something AT, first and second pass. Like, he made me go low. And after the race, he was like, honestly, I think you can race. Here's 4 races for the rest of the season if you want them. So that's how Randy, Johnny, and me kind of all got mashed up in there together.
That's tremendous. No, that's a great story. That's your origin story, how you made the jump from, European Super Comp racer. Of course, people who don't know, your dad was an FIA Top Fuel world champion. Thomas Nataas was what I heard originally. And there's been such a debate back and forth, the way your name should be said, the way you want it to be said, the way we're going to say it so that every American can say it and understand it. And, those are 3 different things necessarily. So let's put it out there right now as champion. And this will be the way everybody says it from right now. Tell me.
Nataas. That's how I say it. That's my easiest way to say it. So, yeah.
Okay. That's it, Nataas. So I've been kind of wrong. I've been Nataas, Nataas.
Okay. I say it's fine because I'm even saying my name wrong. So
really? So
yeah.
What's the real? Like, okay, we're in Norway and you're in school and your teacher is calling your name. What does she say?
Julie Nataas.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to go with Nataas here in the United States, just like Johnny is Yanni, but he wants to be Johnny. So we're going to go with it. Yeah. You'll be American. I like it. What's the European drag racing scene like for everybody out there, our fans who are watching right now? And just so you know, Julie, I'm like watching the number. We jumped on here middle of the day, not quite unannounced, and watching the number just climb up there. Hopefully everybody's sharing the show because we're getting to know Julie Nataas today, world champion. What's that European drag racing scene like? I sold a Super Comp car to a gentleman in Norway. Which was, 15 years ago, but I know there's a scene. What's it like?
It's definitely different. We have a much shorter season, and it all depends what kind of class you drive. So whenever I was driving the Super Comp in the European Championship, I had 12 races from May till September. But if you do go Top Fuel, Funny Car, like the pro classes, you have 5 races a year. And you travel to Sweden, Finland, Germany, and England for those races. So it's a lot of less races, and it's definitely not as big. We do race a little bit slower than the average Top Fuel car here. just because we literally will buy the used parts from America to Europe. Then we will go test and experiment over there, but we're not getting as many runs in because we have such short season in Europe compared to here. Here, we're starting the testing. We see Bradenton this week. Like, race cars are already going down the track. Honestly, those race cars right now this week are getting probably more runs than you will in Europe during a season. So it's a little bit slower paced, I would say, and a little bit behind, but for a good reason.
Right. It's just about making laps. Right. It's cold there. It's cold. It's weather. There's track prep. You don't run as much. There's a lot of rules and regulations. Here in the United States, we're vast. We've got space. We've got good weather. It's warm. It's just, but that didn't slow down Johnny Lindbergh. Johnny Lindbergh figured out how to tune an alcohol funny car over there and came over and whooped everybody.
Absolutely. We have some great drivers and tuners over in Europe that could also make it out here in America. I do believe that. But it's just, if you move here, it's a commitment to race in the NHRA. It literally is like your full-time gig. In Europe, it's your hobby. It's what you do for fun. So it's a little different in that way.
Got it. Okay. So for people who, and I've asked you this, but not publicly, OTG, who are these people? They've been supporting your career, knowing that it will be very hard for us to buy whatever it is that they sell. But over there in Norway, hopefully they are, taking advantage of your championship. Tell me about these guys and who are they? And is it your family? Is it OTG is associated with Julie Nataas, but what's up with them?
OTG, so Oslo Tapet Gullblad, is a flooring company based out of Oslo in Norway. It is my dad's company. So that company has been a part of my racing career since I started racing. You will always see an OTG logo on my race car. If you go back in time, it was a little bit of a different logo, but it's still OTG. So no, they don't necessarily get any benefits of being on that race car here in America. But with the press and media that we do in Norway, they do get a lot, especially now that we won the world championship, where we literally had so much media. We had TV, newspapers, talk shows, all of that, and everywhere was OTG. So they get a small little published media exposure that will help them, but not a lot for being on a car here in America.
Right. But so I would imagine that there's people back home that maybe will be watching this interview, with Google Translate on or something. But are you becoming a big star or bigger star in Norway? There's a lot of great race car drivers there, coming through sports cars, Formula One, otherwise a lot of left and right. Drag racing is still in its infancy. But how's your profile over there in Norway?
It's definitely growing and getting better. I am the only first drag racer on the national team that we have in Norway. And on that national team is also all the bigger stars. We have the Formula 2 drivers, we have the rallycross drivers, a drifter. Most of them are already big names. So when I was added to that list a couple of years ago, it was a big deal. And I'm still on that list. So that feels good for sure.
That is great. All right. So listen, just because I'm a car person, I want to show you the Super Comp car that we sold over there. Maybe you've seen it, right? I sold this thing in 2004. But with that beautiful candy apple paint scheme and this ripping off there, it won best appearing at this car show. That's where I ran my quickest ever 798, by the way, Julie. But the gentleman was from Norway who bought it. And I forget, he put something on the side. It was I don't know, whacker or something like that, lawn equipment. I don't know what it was, but
honestly, I feel like if someone in Norway is seeing this interview, they will send me a message and tell me that they have this race car or tell me who got it.
Yeah.
I'm
somebody
sure
in Norway.
They will be like, oh, we got that race car.
I want to know where that car is, right? We lost track of it. You know how you're connected to your race cars or whatever. But it was a Suncoast car, for those that don't know, Richard Earl Suncoast. And I still have parts. If you need them, just send them.
I love that.
Let's talk about 2024 with Randy Meyer. All right. So the plan was to go Top Fuel Racing. Let's spend a little time on that. Okay. it's tough. It's very tough to climb the ladder, to find the money, to get somebody to spend the money to go race when you don't have the money. And alcohol money and Top Fuel money are very different. But you're doing all the right things. It didn't happen this year. So going back Top Alcohol Racing. But spend a little time talking about the journey to try to get to Top Fuel. Were you knocking on doors? Were you getting phone calls? Were you close with a team? And I don't know the answer to this. Do you have your Top Fuel license? Is that something you've already achieved, or are you going to get it?
I can start with saying that I don't have my Top Fuel license. I'm trying to plan out getting my license this year, and I am talking with a couple different teams about it. Just haven't decided when or where it's going to happen, but definitely this year. When it comes to partners knocking on doors and crew, all of that, I feel like I've pretty much had all of it. Like, it's happening all at once, and then it doesn't happen. Like, you think something is going to happen, and then it doesn't. So it's hard to say, oh, this is happening now, or this is happening in 3 years, if that makes sense. So last year I said that I hope this is my last year in Top Alcohol. I am, ready to move up and move on. But this year, 2024, is my last year with Randy Meyer Racing. So I don't know what my next adventure is. There is no set plan, nothing, signed, or no deals done for 2025 yet. So we'll see what my next adventure will be, but it will not be with Randy Meyer Racing.
Okay, now why make that? Why define that? Why not leave the door open unless you've got a plan, or they've got a plan, or they've got I don't know, something maybe you can't say, or are you just creating urgency? In the end, I want to go pro. I want to be a Top Fuel racer or funny car. You've said that, yes. And I want everybody to know that this is what's up.
I want to go pro, and I feel like I've been in this class long enough for me to, I need that more excitement. I need that next step. I love driving the alcohol funny car because it gave me a new, new experience, nothing new to be excited about. I feel kind of stuck being in this, I shouldn't say class, but in this spot. I feel like I should be moving on and do something else. So that's why.
I like it. No, you have to have that. You have to have that drive. And I think that creating an urgency, but in my opinion, not to tell you what to do, but you got to get your license. I think Absolutely. You got to get your license.
Yeah.
How many times have we heard the story of someone who got an opportunity because they had their license? Do you have your license? Yeah, I got my license. It's right. Get in the car. That's just part of it. And I know we'll make a big deal out of you getting your license. People, I think, want to see you race in Top Fuel. Just the cast of characters they've got going there now.
Absolutely. I've just never been in a rush of getting my Top Fuel license because I have seen, I can say, nightmares of people rushing to get their Top Fuel license and not being comfortable enough to be in that seat. And I've said that if I'm going to go do it, I'm going to go do it and not look stupid. And I definitely could have done that last year or the year before. But now it's definitely the time for me to get that license. I will feel comfortable doing both funny car and Top Fuel Dragster at this point.
Right. No, you got to keep the doors open. But the prospects of, and this is not good, but it's getting better. The prospects of a hired driver who doesn't just pay their own way for the whole thing is getting better. But look what Justin Ashley had to do, right? They basically put out their own family team and they figured out how to make a way, and they did real well. And now he's got a gig as a driver for Skag and Randy. That's really tough to do, though. And he had all kinds of experience out there. What can you do in addition to winning a second world championship this year to put you at the top of the list of who's next?
I honestly wish I could do what Justin did, start my own team and be not your own boss, but decide and dictate what is going to happen and how is this going to happen instead of running under someone. But I also love to be a hired driver, but how am I going to set myself aside from the other people? I guess I'm going to keep proving that I am a good driver. I'm going to have to get my license and I am going to have to keep on being on top on social media and getting my personality out there. Because we can see it in Talkville. It's all about the personality, and we love seeing it. So I think I just got to keep doing that. If there's anything else I should do, let me know. I'm open for it. I don't have the right answer.
No, no, it's an open question. It's an open question because there's no right answer, and it's different for different people. And that's why I was excited to do this interview and have you on. My opinion, you've been around for a few years and we know you, but I don't know that the fans know you yet. They see the blonde hair. Yep. They know you're from Norway, but I don't know. I don't think that they understand your personality yet.
I don't think so either, which reminds me that the other day I actually opened my Snapchat to a public account, so you can follow me on Snapchat now, which this has become huge in Norway, and I can see this trend starting over here in America too, which is one of the reasons why I'm taking it with me. But that's more about showing you literally day-to-day basis who I am, what I'm doing. And it's not supposed to be perfect. It's literally me just taking up my phone like, oh, this is what I'm doing. Like, oh, this is what's going on in my life right now. And it's not supposed to be edited or planned out like you do on Instagram, like you do on Facebook. So I hope that people will see the value in a public Snapchat account and start following me there so that I can show who I am and who I am as you guys know me.
Right. No, I think that's great. I don't, Snapchat. I have a Snapchat. I do the Instagram and all of that stuff. But social media is a big part of it. Certainly, as much as it's good and it's evil all at the same time, right? Like you got haters on there. You got people who get to follow you and get to know you. You took a trip back home this winter, right? And I followed some of your photographs. You're out on the ice. You're doing, tell us a little bit about that. It looked, I am not going to go to Norway anytime soon, as far as I know. And I got to enjoy it through your experience. It looked like you had a great time.
Yeah, it was great. I was back home for 3 weeks for Christmas. And whenever I'm there over the winter, I go swimming in the ocean or I shouldn't say swimming, it's more of a cold plunge. The specific photo that I posted on Instagram was on a lake where the ice was about this big. So you have to actually make a hole in the ice to take an ice plunge. But I love doing that. And just to go home and see my family and I try to put away everything about racing. I try to just be like, oh, I'm home with family and friends that I usually don't get to see. I am fortunate enough that my dad is here all the time whenever I'm racing. My mom, I see my brother, but not the rest of them. So that's a time that I really do take to all of them when I'm there.
That's great. That's great. Bob Bender, who runs Stock Eliminator, great guy. Such a nice young lady. What a nice comment from Bob Bender.
Yeah.
Such a nice thing. Okay, why do you want to take the cold plunge? We got these people in Wisconsin. I'm from Miami area in South Florida. The cold is it's interesting, but I'm afraid of it. You got these people, the polar bears in the dead of January, they go jump in the water and then get out. That sounds like what you just described. What's the point? Explain.
You know how much adrenaline you have when you get out of that cold plunge?
Because you almost died?
For driver.
Because you almost died? How much adrenaline do you have when you take the cold plunge?
A lot. No, it just feels great. It's a very good health benefits to taking cold plunges, and I don't really even know if I care about the health related benefits of it. The feeling of getting out of a freezing cold water and getting up, it's something that you have to experience. Of course, my first time I ever did that, I was being very dramatic and was barely in there for a second. And now that I've done it more than once, you learn how to breathe and learn how to control your body, which is kind of the same technique that you would use when you have to control your nerves in a race car, with your breathing techniques. So I think it's funny. It's something everyone should experience.
All right. No, I'll take your word for it. Again, I don't see myself being in the situation to do it anytime soon. But if I was, I will reference this conversation and consider it at the time.
I think you should.
We'll see. We'll let everybody vote. Like, I don't know. I feel like my heart's going to stop is the real answer. Like, I feel like my heart's going to stop and I'm just going to sink to the bottom because it's very, very cold. All right. Where are you guys racing first? Let's hear the schedule. 2024, when we breaking it out?
Belrose, Louisiana I leave on the 20th. I think we're going to do some testing down there if the weather allows us. And then we got the Baby Gators and Gator Nationals. And then I guess it's Pomona after that.
Yep.
Crisscrossing the country. I can remember for now.
Are you excited to race Angel? Because, we had her on a couple of weeks ago. Talk a little bit about her, right? She's a pioneer. She probably doesn't like, hearing that, right? But she is 3-time champ, winningest female driver for so many years. Now a rookie in a fuel, and you're the champ, and you get to race against this person I'm sure you kept track of as a fan coming up.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's great just to see people, more and more drivers and people getting into our class, and it's getting so much attention. And I think with Angel getting into the class too, our competition is just going to get higher. Like, it's been such a competitive class the last couple of years. We've had Tony, we've had other drivers step up, and now we're getting Angel. Like, this is just great.
Yeah. It really is for top alcohol dragster. Like maybe we could even call it junior fuel in a way, because we see so many people. You're going to have a teammate this year. You're going to run for a championship, but so is Hunter. Tell me about Hunter. I love the kid. Tell everybody else about Hunter, your teammate. Like, what do you think of this guy? Chad is his dad. And so he's got big shoes to fill when it comes to like coolness factor. But what's up with Hunter Green?
No, he's cool and a super nice guy. His whole family, including Chad, they're nice people. So I love having him as a teammate. We always have fun together. He also wants to go top fuel. So he's trying to get, his laps and getting used to driving a dragster and getting as much experience as possible before taking that next step. So we're kind of in the same boat when it comes to that. And I know he wants the championship as much as I do, so I'm sure we'll be fighting over it.
Yeah, no, you definitely will. And, his argument is, hey, you got it last year. Ty says drag racing has a wonderful ambassador in Julie and should promote her front and center. I think that I definitely agree with that. Our challenge is always too many great stories. You've got guys in pro stock who are like, man, we don't go 330 miles per hour, so we're overlooked. Pro stock motorcycle, they're like, oh man, we got 2 wheels instead of 4, and we feel overlooked. You guys go 280 miles an hour, and unfortunately, some of the fans have been in the stands for 3 hours, and they want to go get a hot dog. I guess it's a good problem to have, but it's a challenge nonetheless.
Absolutely, I think it is. For most, we can only, I guess at this point, we can promote ourselves. And do it even better. Like, we can't rely only on NHRA or all our other, like you, Joe. We can't rely on you guys to do the job for us. But of course, some help, like here and there. Like now, you're having me on the show. That's a good help for me. Yeah. Well,
and that's why I started this show, because I felt like it's been years now and there's 100 shows like this now. But at the time there wasn't. There was only one for a long time. Drag racers, like, what are they like anyway? By the way, this is before social media too. So if everybody's cutting into my business, Julie, I don't know what I'm going to do. But to have a conversation and see someone have a conversation, positive, negative, pissed off, fired up, happy, tears, that's where you really learn about someone. And I think that's what makes people want to be a fan of yours as opposed to just watch the car go down the racetrack. And so that is exciting. Julia, I appreciate you coming on the show. I want to give you the opportunity to say anything you want to your fans out there, both here in the United States, also in Norway. You can speak Norwegian to them, right? I'm saying that right? If you'd like. And while you do it, please try to recruit some new listeners for WFO. Go for it.
Wow, I'm really being put on the spot.
Well, I figure you got someone, out there. Like, talk to your fans. Like, I want you to be able to talk directly to them. Or maybe people who aren't fans,
I don't think I've ever...
Yeah. Okay, we're going to call it. Yeah. Julie Nataas on the spot. Say something cool.
Well, I do actually want to add in and say that, you know how I have OTG, a Norwegian company, on my race car. I am adding another Norwegian company this year. It's called Airmine, and it's pretty cool because they're a Norwegian company that are going to be launched in several different countries. And it's partially launched here in America, but part of the reason why they're getting on board with me is because we're reaching an American market that they aren't. So that is pretty cool. So you're going to see Airmine on my race car, which it's an app that tracks pollen in your area. It's pretty cool. So you should check out Airmine, and I will have some more press releases and talk a lot more about it later on. I just think it's cool to see partners outside of America going in on this crazy NHRA drag racing experience that I'm having and supporting that dream.
I agree. No, pollen, like allergy type stuff. Like, pollen. Okay, I'm downloading immediately, right? Because that's something I need to know about.
It will literally tell you what kind of medication you might need that day or how much you need. Yeah. My
thought is that there would be more international companies that would love to tap in to the business-to-business environment that is NHRA here in the States. Of course, the fan base, definitely, but as a gateway to our markets with a driver such as yourself or Johnny or otherwise as the lead. And I think we're going to get there. I think we're getting there with the way Fox Sports is covering the sport. I've got friends in Australia. They see the races sometimes exactly the same time I'm watching them. So we're not done yet. And some people are wondering, like, you mentioned funny car. Are you talking about like an A-Fuel funny car? Or are you talking about a big show funny car? And I think the answer is both, right? Either, whatever.
Absolutely. I was in the alcohol car the last 2 years, mostly last year, and to get experience. I mean, I can definitely get more experience in an alcohol funny car, but nitro funny car, I'm here for it. I want to go pro.
Crazy. That would be crazy. That would be crazy. Yeah. Well, so keep your nose to the grindstone. Keep working, pushing out that social media. Speaking of which, other than Snapchat, where can people find you?
Instagram, Julie Nataas. Facebook, Julie Nataas Racing. And then julienataas.com.
That's great. That is great. All right, Julie. Well, we'll see you at the Gator Nationals. That's the first time that I will see you. Of course, you know, we got the baby Gators and the big money race that's going on, and you'll be out there in Belrose, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Please say hello to Randy and the team for me. Hello. But most importantly, congratulations. You are a world champion. That will never change. That will always be one of your stats, but maybe not always the top line on your resume the way you're going. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Bye, Julie. Take care. Julie Nataas with us here on WFO Radio. How exciting is that? What do you guys think of Julie? And yes, the idea that we have got a really good pipeline of talent and interesting people and personalities coming up into the sport. It's facts. What do we need? We need crew chiefs. We need Derek is like, you're not watching the interview. Clearly, Derek, we had a whole conversation. We did a whole thread on this deal, man. We did a whole thread. Nataas. We're going Nataas. Although she says her teacher would have called it Nataas. And it's just like Johnny and Yanni, right? In Sweden, he's Yanni. But in America, he's Johnny, like from Cobra Kai. So there it is. Yeah. Nataas. And me and Will Hanna had that conversation like 6 times over the past 3 years. And it went back and forth. But now we have the official. All right, guys, your comments, but also we ask you to subscribe. We're coming up on milestones. We're trying to get those subscribers and up. We got rookie numbers right now. You Wolf of Wall Street fans, right? Wolf of Wall Street fans know what the rookie numbers are all about. We got to get those numbers up. So subscribe, click the bell, enable notifications. Those of you who watch and listen on the WFO app, we need you to resubscribe to either YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, wherever you get your podcasts. But check out the show. We're going to be going all season long with winning drivers. We'll get Julie back. We'll find out what the latest greatest is. All of that. We are a multi-time per week program. And you guys do a great job of supporting and sharing the show, and we appreciate you. And the only reason that I can do it is because, first of all, people love the Dragster. My friend George Corso sold me this Dragster when I was working at the radio station in, let's call it 1998, 1999. It's a Suncoast car. It's 211 inches. It was going 8.0s at the time. We put it on alcohol. We had that paint job done. Candy red. Me and my dad love candy red, the roll cage candy red with the blue, ripping back. It was amazing. And that's where I got my Super Comp license, which I still have and maintain if anybody needs me to drive. And also got my 7-second ET slip, which I'm very proud of. Like I always wanted that straight number. 800 is not 799.9. And until you get the ET slip, you don't really understand. It's just like 13,000 is not the same as 1299.9. It's just not. It's not. So have I been in the 7s? Yes. Have I been in the 6s? Nah. Do I want to go in the 6s is the question. But it did win Best Appearing at multiple car shows. It was a beautiful car. I sold it to a gentleman in Norway because I had moved to XM Satellite Radio. I moved to Washington, D.C. to work for XM Satellite Radio on their budding and new service, NASCAR radio channel at XM, and to have this car and also Project Pontiac did not make sense. Project Pontiac was the family car and, purchased brand new in 1978. And that's the Dragster is really the reason that Project Pontiac got put on the shelf. There is a much deeper version of the story, but that's why you listen to the Ignition Show and follow along with Project Pontiac, because we're bringing that car back. We're going to get back out on the track. But let me tell you about Total Seal Piston Rings, the leader in ring seal technology. TotalSeal.com, big supporter. You got Hartford, you got Keith Jones, you got Lake Speed. Go to YouTube and just check out all the information. That way, when you build your next engine or your engine builder builds your next engine, you can ask for Total Seal up front and understand why you need to do it. TotalSeal.com, and check out Hidden Horsepower, the podcast that we produce for Total Seal. Great episodes from PRI up right now, and you'll love them. You'll simply love them. FTI Performance Transmissions and Torque Converters. FTI is located in DeLand, Florida. FTI is in Florida Transmission Incorporated. They have found an unbelievable niche in .90 racers, big money bracket racers, top sportsmen, top dragster, pro modified, extremely high horsepower cars and trucks for the racetrack and the street. FTI makes extremely reliable and consistent transmission parts and driveline accessories. I got to check out the shop a little bit earlier this year. I was last year in 2023, and they've got an amazing team as well. They build, gear drives for monster trucks and mega trucks and these 4-wheel drive mud trucks that you see out there. They've got so many parts and pieces for them as well. And you can order their converters out of Jegs, FTI. The next time you need driveline components, think about those guys and check out their FTI parts website, FTIparts.com. Pretty amazing. Also, the folks at Phillips-Connect.com, Smart Trailer Technology, Mr. Epler has done a great job of inventing, and that's what I love about drag racers, inventing something new, smart trailer technology. Everybody knows about trucks and trailers going over the road, and you see those like discarded rubber caps in the road from a tractor trailer that's tire went down. Wouldn't it be great if the driver, or more importantly, the owner, could know in advance you've got a tire going down, your air system is leaked, you are no longer as loaded as you once were, you've got lights are out. That's what Phillips Connect does. And it is a safety feature, but it is also an efficiency feature. If you'd like a personalized introduction to those guys, email me, joe@wforadio.com. And we're talking about people in the transportation industry. Do you work on fleets? Do you have access to fleets? Do you own a fleet yourself? Phillips Connect can benefit you. CWT Industries. This is Randy Neal. Great guy. Balance machines. Look around your machine shop. If you're a machine shop owner or employee, what kind of balance machine do you have? What's in the corner over there? It's been working a long time, but have you upgraded? The answer is probably not. And if you haven't, CWT Industries makes a machine that is rapid, it is more accurate, and it is easier to run. It's going to make you money by switching. So go to CWTindustries.com. And remember, very important, if it rotates, it can be balanced. So you're thinking about turbochargers, superchargers, every part that rotates, it can be balanced. And that's what CWT is all about. And then, of course, Bernie Speed Shop, the big fan fest down there at the Gator National I should ask Julie. Maybe she'll be there, right? 6 to 9. Bernie's 100,000 square feet of cars and classics and exotics for you to purchase. There'll be a big car show there. But they also sell on consignment. So maybe you have got a muscle car, a classic muscle car, something you would like to sell, but you don't want to just put a sign on it out in front of your house and advertise to the 20 people that drive by your house. Maybe you want someone who knows exactly how to market your car. And yes, there is a bit of a fee, but they can more than make up for it by selling and marketing to the right people. Go to bernies.com to find out more. And again, if you would like a personalized introduction to any of our sponsors, honestly, just email me, joe@wforadio.com, and I will put you together. That's kind of, the whole B2B nature of all of this. There is nothing that I will not do to build relationships between the audience and the sponsors out there. And I know some of you audience members, you're not into advertisements. This is how the deal goes, man. It's how it goes. But also there's fun stuff for you to do, like Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School and the Dragster Adventure, where you can drive a dragster. One of our listeners told us yesterday he did it. You show up at the track with nothing. You're driving dragsters during the day. They provide everything. It's amazing. They can even set up a race if you want. Go to frankhawley.com. Tell them you heard about it on WFO. I hear Frank is over there in B-Town on the West Coast. Rodax Coffee. 817-924-6821. Go to the website. You can find all of our partners on WFOradio.com. Rodax makes the best coffee in the world and has a blend of coffee right now called Stampede of Speed that you will love. I love it. Giovanni Miami loves it. Sue Morris loves it. Everybody loves the Stampede of Speed blend so far. We're batting 1,000. Call Marvin, 817-924-6821. And then there's samtech.edu, the future of all machinists, informing and teaching the next generation, and they're approved to train veterans under the GI Bill, samtech.edu. All right, let's see what everybody's got to say out there. And you can also become a Patreon of WFO if you want it. I love our championship interviews. We got Wyatt Wagner coming up. We got Kyle Rizzoli coming up. We got Trevor Larson coming up. Even Johnny LaBouse is like, I'll do it. So we're going to have our Lucas Oil champs in the next, couple of days. Hi, Joe. Great interview today. Thank you very much. Facebook user. Julie is, I think, who am I, right? But I think she's got star power. I think she's, let's just call it what it is. She's attractive, but sassy, got a personality to go with it. And the start of this interview, talking about moments in the car where she was angry and frustrated. Those are all good things. If the sport of drag racing is going to continue to grow and develop like we all love it to do, and drivers who once paid to be out there show their talent and get hired to be out there by owners and companies that want to see their cars go rounds on Sunday. Think Justin Ashley made the big investment and now works for Skag. Think about that. Think Aaron Stanfield, who raced Pro Stock because the Janik brothers wanted to give the young man an opportunity and showed he's the kind of talent that Elite Motorsports and Johnson's Horsepower Garage and all of those people, he needs to get a paycheck because he's so good at what he does, running at the highest level. That's what Ron Capps, and why Ron Capps, prior to becoming his own owner, why it is so important. You've got to have drivers that are genuine professionals, as in they get paid to do it. They're that good. And what does that mean? That good, as in drive the car, deal with the fans, play the role of celebrity race car driver, do the social media, business to business, repping a company, repping a sponsor, all those things that, we know in NASCAR and Formula One and IndyCar, drag racers do that too. It can't all be out of someone's, own pocket. I think Julie has got a future, but the sport is getting there. Julie is also very fan friendly. No, you could tell her personality. Get the inside information, learn more about drag racing, join WFO. You won't be disappointed. Talking about Patreon. Thank you very much, Scott. Yeah, our Monday motivation, our insider stuff. we've got a whole nother wave for the Patreons, patreon.com/WFO radio. Excellent interview as always, Joe, with a top-notch guest. Great show today. Look at everybody, super excited. Spock, please go back and listen to the interview. She answered that. See, I'm ahead of you, Spock. We got you. We got you. See you in Gainesville. Yeah, Sammy. Sammy Eubanks will. What is the over-under? This is a fun deal. What is the over-under on amount of times Sammy Eubanks will sing the national anthem at the NHRA in 2024? Dwell on that. That's something we'll talk about in the future. What is the over-under? I'm going to set it at 3. Yeah, 3. Under? You called Sammy a couple of times, man. That's big. Last year, I don't know how many it was, Sammy. I think over. It's tough. It's tough call. The potential of having Julie Angel and Ida all moving into Top Fuel, pretty cool. Excellent point, Steve. Yeah. Time and place and all of these things. Angel trying to claw her way up. Ida trying to turn, we reported early in the year that it was going to be 5 races, but now it's sounding like it might be more with Joe Maynard. That's exciting. We'll just have to wait and see. All right, guys, that's going to do it for a week of WFO. Check out the Alan Reinhart show yesterday and be on the lookout. Wyatt Wagner, Kyle Rizzoli, Trevor Larson, all our champions, more champions. And if you're wondering about Doug Gordon, I'm under the impression we interviewed Doug immediately after his championship, right? I'll go back in the archive and check it out. I'm not against interviewing Doug again, but now he's retired. It's all about Maddie now. Nobody cares about Doug anymore. I'm kidding, Doug. I'm joking, right? Julie, Nataas. It's going to take some little retraining. I'll be ready by Indy, no doubt. But it's been a great show. Really appreciate everybody. Thank you so much. Great week of WFO. And hit the archive. Archive is loaded. Social media, WFO Joe, WFO Radio. I do have a Snapchat, but I don't promote it because I don't use it. All right, guys. Appreciate all of you. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the races. We'll see you next time right here on WFO Radio.